think any kind of dips on these, we'll keep an eye on them. They're not a priority today due to the gap up on them. Fucking rolled over. Morning, everybody. What's going on? Hey, Kelsey, what's going on? Abby, how you doing? We got a flat open on the market. We've been fading off pretty much all of pre-market. The SPY's down about 0.7%. Which is nothing. At this point, you know, the plan for today was really to kind of short the gap up on the market, but we've already faded off in the pre-market. You're starting to see like a lot of the moves happen in the pre-pre, which is fine. You're getting some good euphoria in the market. So we're rolling back red here. This is normal. Like after a Fed day, it's kind of like, you know, sell the news. We're not in the crash phase of the market anymore. So if we roll back red, good chance that, after a little bit of a pullback, we just ramp back up. I repeat, like we're not in the crash phase of the pullback in the market anymore. So these dips in the market tend to be really shallow. Ideally, like some early morning strength, you can fade off a lot of these stocks that are like really, really extended. But we've already faded in the pre-market the last couple hours, like $5-6. So I don't think there's probably an edge in shorting these now because the range has already been used. Sometimes if you use up the range in the pre-pre, then, your short setup is over. Like all these have been like, they're stuck at resistance. CCL, NCLH. See, like you got stuck at big resistance here, but you're fading off hardcore in the pre-market. Like if you were looking for a short, the gain would have been like to get $1 or $2 out of it. It's already made that move, so you're not going to have necessarily any room to run on some of these unless, right at the open we start to pop up. We can kind of shove back into these levels, then we can fade these off. So NCLH, RCL, like they're all extended, but we would need a shove. Like if you got a quick squeeze at the open into 50, 55, I think we would have ourselves like a decent shot at some potential shorts. Same thing with Penn. Penn stuck right under this 200 SMA, but you already faded back, $1.50 of it. And this market lately is making all its moves on like what you want to happen in the pre-market versus, when the market actually opens. So like every day when we have a plan at night, we're like, okay, if this gaps up, we're going to do this, vice versa. The market's been making the moves pre-market. So you guys got to just be kind of careful with those things. Good morning, everybody. Mike, how you doing? Asal, JJ, Mike, Ishmael, what's going on? So I think our plan for today, like if we look here, there's a handful of stocks that got earnings out. Tesla's got earnings out. At this point, this thing's gonna is making its attack towards, almost 1,000. You gapped up on earnings, like you've already started to pull back a little bit, but like nothing too special yet. Tesla is known like at the open, it'll gap up and then it'll pull back like hard at the open to the 920 EMA. When you start to see it hold, watch this one for a potential bounce. I think we'll have like a good spot on it. You can see like Microsoft had earnings out too. Now Microsoft's a thick stock, so like I never trade this bad boy. In general, like it's just too thick. But like these are like some good earnings plays. Like all these people are reporting good earnings. They're gapping up on them. Like they're gonna be in play. Mr. Couture, how are you? What's going on in Toronto? Oh yeah. And then Facebook had earnings out too. So you're already seeing like it's fading back a little bit of the gain. That's normal because you got into this resistance spot here at like the 215, 218 level. If this thing starts to settle, intraday, watch and see how it holds, and then you might get a long on it. So what I mean by like settle intraday and watch and see how it holds, you know, like yesterday, if you saw like Boeing, for example, you know, Boeing had a gap up on earnings, and then you can see like it kind of just drifted lower a couple dollars throughout the morning as it's just finding that its equilibrium. Now you start to like pull back and you start to hold. So when you start to hold the supports and you start to build, that's when you got like an easy level to manage around. Look at this fucking thing. They're not waiting for us today. The whole day's a dud. I guarantee this whole day is going to be a dud, but whatever. The only play was to short the gap on today. Like now that you're already fading off, you're not going to get the play that you need. Because now everything is dipping off. So it's going to be too late to short, but it's too early to buy. So most likely either trade half size today or just do nothing. So if you see this on Tesla, this kind of pattern, where like you'll gap up and you start to pull back and meander, that's when I think you get the long on it. These kind of bigger name stocks, they tend to do that, where they just settle off at the open for like an hour and then they're off to the races. So I would actually keep Boeing on watch list for potential day two. You'll get some kind of action along this. The key on this thing is going to be is like if it holds this gap from yesterday. If it doesn't, it'll probably fade it back. But it's already too extended in the pre-market to really short it today too. Yeah, it's like a $10 move. All right. So our watch list for today. We'll play this TQQ back and forth. It's nuzzled right under its 200 SMA. It's nuzzled right under that 200 SMA. It's going to be, if you see it, the easier play might be if you flush off at the open, you're looking for the rebound. Because I think like you've used up a lot of the range on it. If it shoves like the first 10 minutes, I think, you know, we could probably get a short out of it, but that's a 50-50 trade at this point. You're only getting one flush in this market pretty much all the time. This W is still stuck under resistance. I'm looking for a fade on this one. You know, back into kind of this zone over here. If we could get kind of 115, 113 on this, I think we're going to have ourselves a nice little pizza party. OSTK has been cooking. Mostly based on the momentum from Bitcoin the last few days. I don't know if anybody's been trading Bitcoin. It's been flying. It's been flying. We have, and you know, move into, I believe, the 9,000s on this. Hold on here. Or we did have a move to 9,000. Yeah, you got to 9,400 on Bitcoin. So you're starting to see like the last few days as Bitcoin starting to like really ramp, you're getting a move in OSTK. We're up over 100% the last couple days. I think you push into this like maybe 16, 17. You're gonna get a short on this bad boy. This could be an exhaustion gap today. You're on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5 of the move. You could have an exhaustion gap on this. You could be an exhaustion gap on this. I've got this on watch for potential short. Only on a parabolic, though. If it starts to grind or move, or if it starts to grind, leave it alone. OSTK is known, like if you start to grind on it, it'll just go sideways and it'll squeeze you. So like leave it alone on that aspect of things. Yeah, Tesla's still holding its gap pretty well. I think we're going to be good to go on that. Look at this CHK just getting smoked. It's down 50% today. The short on it's probably over because it's just down too much. It's impossible to borrow anyways. And Neo, Chung. Dude, what happened to like this hot earnings season? You get nothing. Twitter has earnings out today. It's already getting smoked. Non-GAAP diluted, net income per share, blah, blah, blah. Revenue rise, blah, 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 blah. Leave it to Twitter to be... leave it to Twitter to be like the only web company like not making money during this coronavirus. Like everybody's sitting on Twitter all day and they can't even get $1 on this thing. This is a thick stock. It's a thick little bastard. If it can, like you're stuck right at the 9 EMA here and you're 50. If you break under here, I would look at this for a potential intraday short. This is not a priority for us though. It's not a priority for us due to the fact that the float on this is so thick. But it's not the float. Like Boeing has a thick float, 500 million plus, but it moves like pretty well. Twitter is like notorious for just grinding your balls. Like you short this thing and then you're just sitting there and it just grinds and grinds. The algos pop in on this thing and like you're just stuck on it. ZM is getting down some more. Google makes video conferencing product. Facebook's making one. Like everybody's got one, right? Yeah. You're better off at this point, like it's starting to pull back from 180. So you're down 40 points on this thing from its highs. You got your 50 SMA coming here. Like, I don't think the easy... I don't know if the easy short is there. Like, you've already been bleeding out for 3 days. One more big flush on this, so you're going to be down into support. Like, you may get a secondary play on this, but I think the easy money is definitely... I think the easy money might be down on this. So, like, if you see on here... A lot of these things that have been really rolling but are extended, they're pulling back now. So if you get a sharp pullback in the open on, like, say something like a TNA, you've got a big base breakout over here. You get one big, like 1 or 2 days of pullback, like it's going to set up some nice opportunities for bounce. Look at the range on this thing. You want pullbacks in the market in general because it builds a healthy market. You got to let some of these charts reset. Everything that you're looking at is up like 4, 5, 6 days in a row. When you're up 4, 5, 6 days in a row, like you tend to pull back quite a bit. So like you're filling some of these gaps now on TNA. The bigger the pullback, like I think the better you're going to have for like a potential long later. Like this thing's gapping down 3%, 9% in the pre-market. Yeah. Hey, you don't like the mustache? What the heck? It is... You know what? I had like a little bit more, like, I had some more handlebars and stuff going, and then I was trying to line it up, and then next thing you know, like, it got too short, and now it just looks... Now it looks like a... Now I'm really looking like an Indian person. Oh, yeah. But I don't owe anybody any money. Just figured it'd be like a nice touch. Just be a nice touch. TNA, watch this bad. If you get this thing down into 21, I think you probably get, you know, I think you get probably closer to like, you know, nice bounce spot where you have some nice RR on it. Leave it alone till you get down into these levels. Like, you got to let these things matriculate out. You know what? I was trying to go for like more like an Orlando Bloom, you know, mustache, but it's just, I'm just not. Ben Bernanke, that's just fucked up. Pen rolling over. Damn. Look at these bad boys. Don't chase any of the gaps on, you know, Penn, NCLH, CCL, RCL. Those are the plays for today. If you get a big spike on them at the open, otherwise you got to leave them alone. TZA is a 3X ETF, so it tends to bleed out, Mr. Greg. So it's not necessarily anything to do with the underlying index, of which is the Russell. A 3X ETF, when it goes the other way, they bleed out like more than they're supposed to. Yeah, I think you'd probably get a bounce on it for like maybe a day or two, into like 36, 37. It would have been nice, like if you had gapped down on it, you would have been able to. Thanks, Jason. You would have been able to catch a decent bounce on it, but you're already kind of gapping up 9% on it. So you can't chase this thing up. Watch and see how it pulls back, and you'll be good to go. TDOC just had some, TDOC is getting a little bit of weakness here too. If this thing kind of holds, if it busts under this 20 SMA, I think you got room down to 150 on this. So I'll be good to go on this. RCL, NCL, you can buy it on the dip, but like you need maybe at 40. CCL, maybe 13. Hey, Mr. Patel, what's going on? Man, everybody wants to short the market. The easy short on the market is over. If you wanted to short the market, you should have done it, right, a month ago. Now we're like more in a trending environment, so the crash phase is over. Mr. Parima, I do think you get I think you're going to maybe have like a day or two on this though. Where you can really you might get a day or two on this. Just don't marry it. Don't hold these things for more than a 3X ETF is not meant to really hold for more than a little bit of time because they have a decay on that. But it's a good day trading vehicle, so I do think you may get you may start cooking on this one. If Tesla goes, we'll hit space, but the market's fading off. So, frankly, if space is in a sandwich, if it doesn't hold this level here, it's just you're gonna bust loose. So you have a sandwich on this bad boy. Woo, that sounds dirty, don't it? Watch and see how it reacts around 1750. Watch and see how it reacts around 1750. I think you'd be good to go. It's just in a sandwich. There's no good hot long setup on this either. On C, you can test here. You test at 19, and you got your 50 SMA right on top. So till it really breaks over 19, it's not going to move free. But you're also at 17 supports. What they call that, right? That's the penis in between us right there. Sitting in the back seat of your buddy's Volkswagen. It's not a comfy spot when you're stuck in that range. You got to let it break above or below. Otherwise, you're just going to ping pong around back and forth in that. How's your trading been, Parima? Let's see if we got any shreds on the downside. So you got TNA, junk, 3X ETF, junk, Bud, ZM. Mark out a level here. If you get close to 130, I think that's where probably ZM catches a bounce. It loves to kind of bounce off this 50 SMA here. That'd be like 5 down days in a row. Till it gets to 130, though, I leave it alone. Airlines. Man, airlines are like the worst stocks to trade. You already got the fade on it. Fucking A. Hold on here. Yeah, the airlines, they're fading off. If they tap back into, if you get close to 23, 24 in DAL, I think that's probably where some of these might be a buy. Airlines in general just stink to trade. They're the worst. You see, you got a big move in the pre-market down. Qualcomm. Man, Qualcomm sucks to trade too. Thick float. You got a 1 billion share float on this one. I mean, I think that one's just no-go. All right, so let's reiterate because we've gone over 1 million tickers. This doesn't even look like a game plan. All right? TQQ on watch. We'll trade this thing back and forth today. If there's volatility today, which there might be a little bit because you're already down about 0.7%, we'll trade this thing back and forth. TVIX is already starting to cook. You got about $20 range in the pre-market. You may have room up to 220 if it starts to trend. The issue with TVIX, you got a gap fill here at 206, so we may have a suction there where I think you can go. On pops only, if we get into the 49, 50, 51 on RCL, maybe we take a short on them. Otherwise, we leave them alone. CCL, same thing. We need a pop back into these resistance spots, then we'll get a short on them. NCLH, same thing. On the long side, Tesla. On the long side, Tesla looks like Tesla's got the juice. Hopefully, if it holds its gap. You're up about 6% on it. It's notorious for filling about half of it and then starting to rebound its way back. And then we're good to go. OSTK on watch for potential short near 16. I want this thing to go parabolic. We'll see how it starts to hold there, and then we'll look and see if we make out some highs. We'll be good to go. Beyond that, we don't need much. You know, everything else looks pretty much the same. Pen looks all right. You know, Pen, if I can get this thing near 20, I need a big pop on this one too. If I can get this thing near 20, I think you get a short out of it. But you already dropped $2 pre-market, so there's not going to be any room really to run. You just pulled back into all these levels. But that's our list. We're sticking to it. Keep it short today. Remember, the easy trade on today is over. Like there was only one trade today to do, which was short the gap. You were getting really parabolic in the post market yesterday. Now everything's kind of pulled back. So we have to let things settle before we take a trade. This is our list. I'm sticking to it. Don't overtrade today because the ideal trade is not there. If the ideal trade is not there, you got to go half size today. Half size at the open till we see a trend set. Let's go do this.